Hey everybody, it's Erin and we're gonna just play today. I really don't have any set agenda beyond I pulled out some supplies and I'm working with Colorique and some Crafters inks and some Rita Barakat products, which includes her foamies and her stencils, and that's kind of all I got so far. I really have wanted to use this frame for a while, and then I got this with another thing, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to like mount this onto here. And then I was trying to figure out, well, what do you put on the inside of that? And when I saw her stencils, I thought, well, why can't I just do an eye and just really go for something a little different? But I wanted to do a background to the eye. So we're going to play with some stamping. So this is actually a foam stamp, and I love the design of this. This is really cool. I mean, it's made out of foam, but it's kind of got a fun texture. So I'm going to go ahead and open these up and then stamp on this paper. Okay, so these are some inks by Ann Butler, and they're made for going on all different kinds of stuff. And I might end up coming through also and working with on this, but first we're just going to be stamping on, this is just watercolor paper. And I'm going to start with the two lighter colors, I think. So I'm going to go in with my little art foamy stamp, and this one is called, I'm not sure what it's called, but it looks like just a beautiful cloud. So we're going to call it the beautiful cloud stamp. So I'm going to come in and hit some highlights for that color, and then I'm going to hit some highlights for this color. Again, there's really no agenda for this project. I'm just playing, having fun. All right, come in here and stump. And there we go. Kind of a cool effect, right? All right, so what I'm going to do now is I really did love the eye. I'm going to make sure that's kind of drying. And Rita's got a couple other stencils. She's really good about having all these stencils about faces. So if you're not good at doing faces, you can use the stencil to actually make a face. That's not where I'm going with this. I'm just going to use the eye. But I really wanted a big eye, so this awesome stencil is fantastic because it's really nice and large. So that's what we're going to do. All right, this is for the most part dry, and I don't need it perfect. That's the other thing. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm just going to find kind of a cool spot. I like the eye on the swirly parts right here. And I'm just going to take my pencil and outline the eye. So I'm going to test my Colorique. This is just a black. This is an ink that can go in just about anything. And it does really well on wood and ceramics and metals and stuff. But we're going to test it on this watercolor paper and see how well it does. And it does great. I mean, it goes on nice and smooth. And this is what we're going to use to actually outline our eye. So I have a nice fine tip brush. I'm just going to take a little bit up here. Now that I've gotten that, I don't want to get it all over my arm. And I'm just going to come in and basically highlight my eye that I just stenciled in. And if I exaggerate a little bit, at least I have a guideline. I'm not freehanding from nothing. I'll give her an exaggerated cat's eye. That looks pretty good, right? Looking like an eye to me. And I gotta come in, I did that too low, but that's okay. We're gonna have our eye kind of hit right in there. But you know, we're seeing just a pattern from the stamp, which is kind of what we're going for. We're not going for seeing all of it. I could come in and just add a tiny bit of the stamp, because we're going for swirls and stuff. Just come here like that and layer it up. I'm going to leave the top the way it is, but I like the look now. I might come in with the other color. And then you just catch a little something in there like that. All right, I think I'm going to do the star in black as well. let's have some fun with a little bit of a color in the eye. Here. And we'll just leave the rest of it as is, so it's almost like it's kind of pulling out from within it. So I like that. Okay, let this off to dry. Now we're going to come in and we are going to paint this, and I really like that purple color. I want that purple to pop. Let's grab a little bit of a larger brush and go ahead and paint this whole thing up. All right, well that kind of cools down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and just very briefly, it's still a little warm, come in and I'm just going to do a couple little dots, a little high, a little low. And that's kind of the gist of where I'm going to be cutting. It's always better to cut bigger than it is smaller. It's always easier to trim down than it is to make it larger. So I'm definitely good if I cut within that space right there. And cut that out. Plenty of room to glue it down. I got tons of space here, so that's good. I can still kind of play with the dimensions of where I want this. I think that's pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna finish this up first. That's definitely got a lot of good space. I am now gonna come in. It's pretty good. Just have a little bit of a sanding tool here. This is just a really fine sanding tool. I just want to rough up just hitting that top layer here. Now let's pull that off. It looks kind of vintagey, but now we're going to add a dark color back into there. Get all that kind of sand sawdust stuff off, and then come in here, and it's going to pick up that darker color with this dark one, and this one is called Blueberry, but it looks very purpley kind of. It's like that bluey purple. There. And I'm just going to heat set that to make sure it's dry. It's definitely getting on my hands. All right, I'm going to flip this over. It may not be 100% dry, but it is definitely close to it. And I'm going to apply some glue. Now I want a good tacky glue not only to hold the paper to this frame, but also so I can attach it to my stem. So I'm going to apply a good layer around here, and then we're also going to color the base of that stem. So while that is setting, I'm going to go ahead and come in here, and I really love that purpley color, so I'm going to come in and do the purple on the base. Now for just something a little bit fun, we're going to take our art foamy thing again, and this is pretty much dry. Well, I'm going to dry this up just a tad. I don't want it to bleed and blend. So I'm going to come in, and with a fun design here on this side, kind of come in and just give it a few fun little stamps and swirls. Better swirls than I could have made it. Now we're going to come in with a lighter color on the other end, which is this end. And we're going to go around the edge, just kind of like that. Tying it all together, adding all the colors. It's not super different in the colors, but it's enough. All right, see how this is doing. Make sure our eye is oriented the correct direction. And we don't want this to be super high because otherwise it's just going to lose its shape. So we are going to run. I'm going to have to elevate this. There. So I just elevated it so that way the stick would stick on there. It's pretty basic. And now we're going to add our glue, which this is just a craft glue from Helmar. And we are going to grab a nice bead of glue I am also going to make sure I am doing this on the right way. Yes, I'm not gluing it upside down. Orientate that. So now I just got to let it dry. I just put a little bit of paper underneath there. So now I just need to let this dry and it'll be done. So we'll come back when it's all set and dry and I'll show you what it looks like. So here we go. Just a little bit of fun art on the stick. It's the best way to describe that. Sometimes you just kind of get a bug in your ear and you want to try it out and you have this item sitting on your desk, which I've had this little frame sitting there for probably a good 4 months, just kind of waiting. And then I had this project I wanted to get done and I looked at it and was like, I can paint that. I can make that look really cool. And here it is. And then the stand came from a set I got from Relics and Artifacts, and it had to do with all these butterflies, and I didn't use it for that project. And so again, it was sitting on my desk. I thought, I can put the two of those together. And then just playing with the idea of an eye. I would never be able to draw that eye. So thanks so much, Rita, for being able to give me the ability to do an eye on my own. Kind of on my own, pseudo on my own, a little bit of stencil work. So all supplies are listed below. Thanks for stopping by. Please subscribe. Bye-bye.